Hello friends, today's topic is rent is way too expensive. Let's rent.
Y'all know how back in the day they used to have rent parties to help somebody who was short on the rent or whatever. They all chip in a couple of dollars. People will come over. Baby, this why we don't do that. We can't do that because everybody need help on their rent. Everybody need help on their rent. Shit, and that's how y'all know it should be a motherfucking problem.
In the rent by $400 in this economy, freaking pay has not increased. Are you fucking for real? Who got the money for that? Look, I was born in 1970 something. I had been around for a very long time and I've been renting for a minute. Granny's first place that she rented was $300. Bitch, now I'm paying $2,000 freaking dollars. Are you kidding me? Bro, it's too expensive to own. It's too expensive to rent. It's just too expensive. So what I had to do, because bitch, who got $400? Not me. And so I decided we got to start posting 30 times a day on TikTok. And here I am. It's day 14. And I'm determined to make sure that I come up with the extra money for rent. I'm going to get it, though, because, you know, I'm not trying to be houseless. But being disabled and not having the money to pay rent is just freaking out of pocket. And nobody should have to deal with any of this shit. Let me know in the comments if your rent has doubled or tripled. And what part of the country are you in?
Look, I'm not saying anybody's to blame. I'm not pointing the finger. I don't actually know. I'm not saying that apartment complex owners, these corporations that own these apartments, are just greedy. They're price gouging and taking advantage of people. But what I would like to know from the apartment owners, why are the prices so expensive? Why has the price of rent doubled, almost tripled in some places over the last 5, 6, 7 years? I'm not saying you're to blame, but from your perspective, who is to blame? Who is causing you to raise these rates so much? Let us know, and we'll stand next to you and we'll point the finger. We'll all blame the right person. But if it's not you being greedy, it's not you price gouging, if it's not you taking advantage of people, then let us know who it is.
Rent is too damn high. The cost of living is too damn high. And I don't understand how the government thinks that that is sustainable for the American citizens. I am looking online at different places, houses, apartments, townhomes, everything to see what's out there. One, they want you to make 3 times the rent. Jobs are not paying 3 times the rent. I'm looking at different jobs that require at least a bachelor's degree, which I have, but they're at $52,000, $50,000 a year. What? And you expect me to pay $2,000 and above for rent, and you want me to make 3 times that? Like, make it make sense. How is people surviving out here? I really want to know, how are people surviving? And then they want to get on you about living, allowing people to come stay with you, and they paying a portion of the rent. So people can't stay there if they're not on the lease, and you can get in trouble for that and evicted for that. And on top of that, they want the deposit, which is the equivalent of the rent, the first month rent, and then last month rent. And then they want your credit score to be extra high. Mine is 796. So, I mean, I will qualify. But again, for the average American, that's not doable. That is not doable. They want you to spend every aching ounce, every minute of the day at somebody's job, collecting hours and hours and money and money and money and money. When do you get to sleep? When do you actually get to be at home? You don't even get to be at home. How is any of this sustainable? It's not. The housing crisis is already bad enough. There isn't any more low-income housing. I know because I work in housing, so I know. People are really hurting, really struggling to live and survive. And it's going to be a lot more homeless people that do have jobs, but they can't afford to get apartments. And that's a lot of homeless people that I see. They actually work, but they can't afford to get. I moved out into my own apartment when I was 19 years old. Okay. I had it was 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It was $625. 1 bedroom now is over $1,200. A 2-bedroom back then was $800 at the most. $725 on the low end. That's when I moved out. Now it has tripled. That is not sustainable. And a lot more people are going to go homeless. Period. Now they being little picky about how many people you can have living in a home or an apartment. But how do you expect people to survive? They're not paying us enough to pay these prices. This is not sustainable, and eventually it's gonna bust.
People talk about the housing crisis like it's just numbers, but it actually changed how people live inside their bodies. I have experienced instability firsthand, and what people don't talk enough about is how expensive housing forces you into survival mode, even when you're doing everything right. You stop making choices that are based on what's healthy and start choosing decisions that are based on what you can afford to survive. Since 1970s, the rent has gone up over 50%, adjusted for inflation, but the wages have not kept up. Even renting isn't a safe fallback anymore. This is why so many people feel stuck, why so many people stay in jobs that drain them, why people stay in relationships that don't feel safe. It isn't really a lack of motivation, but a lack of real options. When housing eats up majority of your income, rest becomes a luxury and choice becomes dangerous. And then people confuse survival with stability.
How can you pay for anything else when all your money is going to rent? Comment down below and thank you for watching.